A couple weeks ago, I made a video saying you cannot retire if you do any one of these four things. A lot of comments on this, very popular video. These four things were: if you carry a credit card balance; number two, if you have auto loans; number three, if you're carrying a mortgage; and number four, if you don't manage a strict budget. So got a lot of comments on there on this video. I'll link it below so you can watch it. Lots of grief about cars and saying, how am I supposed to buy a car? If I don't buy it on payment. Well, what about saving each month for a car? So when I say you can't retire with these four things, obviously, yes, you can. But I'm looking for a behavior of saving. And, if you got a car coming up in 10 years, are you saving $400 or $500 a month for that car? Or are you living on tomorrow's money? And if you do all four of these things, you're living on tomorrow's money, okay? That's not saying you can't retire. That means your probability of success is greatly reduced, I believe, in my experience, okay? And I've talked to 180 of you folks out there, and I start to see patterns. This is just a pattern, okay? Don't get offended. It's just a pattern, okay? So the second one I got a lot of grief on was on mortgage. Say, hey, I've got a 3% mortgage. Why should I pay that off when I can get 10% in the stock market? Well, okay. If you can get a guaranteed 10% in the stock market, yeah, that does make sense. But how do you know the next 10 years there's going to be a 10% return? Maybe it's a negative 10 over the next 10 years. Say it can't happen? Well, let's just look a little bit at history. A little bit of history, and you can find periods of time where it would have been better off to take that 4%, 3% mortgage and get it out of your way. So obviously, it's your choice to retire. I look for tendencies and behaviors that are trends in people that I talk to about my concern about them retiring. So great dialogue. Love the comments coming in. All positive, all constructive, let's say. Not about 10% don't agree, and that's fine. But I love how their comments are respectful, so keep that going. But food for thought, right? Okay, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying these are some tendencies, okay? So this video is part two of that. Part two of that, continuing the discussion, really based on the comments that I got. I got hundreds of comments on that video. So four more behaviors or actions that you really should think twice about retiring until you master these. Number one, if you don't have a medical plan. If you're retiring before the age 65 in the United States, you need a medical plan. You need to have thought it through. You don't need to assume. You don't need to guess. You need to actually pick up the phone or get on your computer and look at your medical options. There are good ones out there. The Affordable Care Act is good. You've got Indiana Farm Bureau health plan is what I use. There are short-term plans out there, and there are health shares out there. All good options for you. Do your research. Spend the time. Don't assume. Don't assume it's bad. And say, I'm not going to retire because I don't have health care. No, have a number, okay? It's just a budget item, okay? It's just a budget item. You can do this. I have a video linked in every single one of my videos on a health insurance video I made, so look for it in the text below. So number two, if you have to have 100% confidence in your plan, you're never going to retire, okay? It takes courage to retire. It's going to be a leap of faith. You got to do a lot of homework. You got to have a lot of Excel spreadsheets and a couple other things I'll talk about later. But you have to study this retirement thing, okay? And if you want 100% confidence, it's not going to happen. Most people, I recommend you're at least 80% confident in some comprehensive software package, where it says 80%, 85, 90 is good, 95 is better, obviously. But there's going to be risk, and it's going to take courage. So if you're looking for an excuse, it's pretty easy to find because you're not going to be 100% confident. So number three, if you can't get past focusing on maximizing your returns. This is a big one, folks. People go into retirement after 50 years, 55 years, 60 years of trying to maximize returns, okay? This is, I want to invest, I want to get 10%, I want to get 12%. I want to invest in individual stocks. I want to invest in private capital, venture capital. It's a high-risk things. When you go into retirement, it's a lot about defense, folks. You want to get the maximum returns you can, but you don't want to bet the farm. I was talking to a guy the other day that a third of his assets were in one stock, a third. And I said, what if you have a Bud Light moment in your company? You know, you have a Bud Light moment where that stock goes in half. You know, the internet today makes communication extremely fast around negative news. So what can that happen to you? Your job in retirement is, and my buddy Josh Scanlon, check him out on YouTube, Heritage Wealth Financial. He says if you've already won the game, stop playing. So if you're up by 3 touchdowns in a football game, American football game, stop playing. You don't need to do anything dramatic to win the game. Just run the ball up the middle, run out the clock, okay? Run out the clock. You're up by 3 touchdowns, fourth quarter with 5 minutes left on the clock. Just run the ball. Don't do anything dramatic. This is a hurdle most people need to get over. I spend probably 10% of every phone call I have with a client, and I've spoken to around 180. 10% of that time is talking them through, don't take that much risk. I wouldn't take that much risk. Here's what you're doing. You're wanting those assets, you're wanting to spend those assets in the next 1, 2, or 3 years, and you got it all invested in the stock market. I personally wouldn't do that. That's a very common conversation, and to stop being so concentrated on some assets. So you got to get past, I want to maximize returns. When you need mediocre returns to have an epic retirement, stop betting the whole farm and get past maximizing returns. Okay, so that was number 3. And number 4, folks, external validation of your plan. You've got to have this. You got to stress test your plan. Don't go it alone. I've said I've met with 180 people, coaching them through the transition in retirement, and I averaged 10 gaps, 10 discussion points with these clients, 10. And these are not idiots. These are very capable people that have done a lot of research, but you can't make your plan in your basement bunker all alone and expect it to not have errors in it. I averaged 10 per call, okay? Are you special? Are you different? This applies to everybody but you, okay? Now I have had one, I won't say his name, but you know who you are. One person I had no corrections for. No concerns that I saw with their plan. Nothing that bothered me. One person, so maybe you're the second person. I doubt it. So a couple things I recommend. Number 1 is a comprehensive software package. There's a link below to New Retirement. It's exceptional. Everybody calls it a game changer. Sign up for 2 free weeks using my link. It's $120 a year after that. If you use it, if you get the free version and play around with it, you'll be shocked at how much it changes your confidence in retiring, especially retiring early. And it's a game changer. I'm telling you, I use it. I buy it myself. Okay, I've been buying it for 3 years now. The second thing I do for external validation, and I'm trying to make this easy for you, I got another link to a service called Pickle. Pickle. You sign up there for a free, okay? Free, I like free. 45 minutes with a financial advisor. So this is a certified financial advisor. You go on, you sign up, you don't enter credit card information, nothing, okay? You go in and you say, I want to meet with this guy at 8 o'clock in the morning next Tuesday. This lady, whoever, whenever. You pick the time, they'll match you up with that financial advisor, ask him your question, when should I take Social Security? Do I have enough money? Here's my special situation. Here's what's unusual about me. and no obligation. You could sign up with them. You could ask for another call with them, or you can say no. Okay, so 45 minutes free to help you get external validation of your plan. At a minimum, I'd do those two things. I'd get this new retirement, try that out, 2 free weeks, and then a free financial advisor for 45 minutes. I'm giving you 2 free things, okay, to help you get external validation. You decide where you go after that and what makes sense to you. So external validation, things like rate of return, inflation, taxes, asset concentration, early death of a spouse, somebody being single, when to take Social Security, all these things, taxes, is my number one discussion topic with folks. So there were 4 more things that if you're not doing these, you're not ready to retire. How'd you do? Let me know in the comments. If you got 4 out of 4, if you got 3, if you got 2, you got 1, you got 0, let me know in the comments. And after that, let me know where you're from. I love hearing that. It gives me great motivation when I hear where people are listening from. This is Joe, out.